video is intended to help you install and set up the Infoblox Network Automation Virtual Appliance or NetMRI appliance to allow you to discover and manage your Layer 2 and Layer 3 network devices. We will deploy the Virtual Network Automation appliance on a VMware 5.0 or greater ESXi server. The screen will be slightly different depending upon the version of VMware. When you are downloading the virtual machine, you will need to unzip the file prior to deploying it. The file you deploy will have a .ova extension. When selecting a storage option, you will need to choose a data store that can support a 60 gigabyte image. Once you complete the ESX deployment wizard, it can take a while to deploy. Now is a good time to pause the video to allow the deployment to finish. After the deployment is complete, you need to open the console of the virtual appliance and start it to complete the installation process. To log in to the network automation appliance, type in the username of admin and the password of admin. You will get to change the password in the GUI. The first thing to do is to set a temporary NetMRI license. The network automation appliance will take several minutes to apply the license and then reboot. Now you can run the configure server command to configure the database name, network name, server name, and domain name. Do not use any special characters. Keep it short with an alphanumeric characters and no spaces. Next, you configure the NTP settings with the time zone and location. Next, assign the IP address, subnet mask, and default gateway of the network automation server. Next, assign the IP address of the DNS server that will be used by the network automation appliance. Review the settings. If they are correct, then configure the system with the settings. Now the network appliance will take several minutes to complete the configuration. We will pause the video at this time to allow the configuration process to complete. After the reboot is complete, log back into the appliance and execute the show settings to verify the settings and show the license to verify the licensing. If everything looks correct, use a standard web browser to log into the GUI. At the first login, the setup wizard will appear. The first step is to change the password based upon the password requirements. In this step, you can choose to manually add IP addresses rather than have network automation go out and discover devices based upon the IP range setting. Use the CIDR selection to enter an IP prefix with its CIDR mask value or an IP range beginning and ending range of IP addresses. IP pattern lets you enter a value with a wildcard character. Many users will prefer to use the CIDR option. These discovery options allow you to control the number of devices NetMRI can discover. Network automation uses the CLI to telnet and/or SSH into the discovered devices to download configuration files and perform automation tests. You can provide user-level credentials and enable-level credentials. SNMP is used to collect data like ARP, CDP neighbor, LLDP neighbor, and routing tables. Network automation needs these community strings to allow this information to be collected from the network devices. Telling network automation about one or two routers will jumpstart the discovery process by telling network automation where to begin. After adding the seed router, you can then discover the router. This will test the SNMP and CLI credentials for correctness. This will ensure a high probability that the SNMP and CLI credentials will work with other discovered devices. We will accept the defaults for the next steps of the setup wizard. Please refer to the admin guide for further details. You will now be taken to the standard interface for network automation. You want to go to the Network Explorer tab and then the Discovery tab to view your discovered devices. You can monitor the discovery process by periodically refreshing this table. To keep network automation bandwidth down to a minimum, discovery is a slow and methodical process and could take a while to complete. Network automation is now installed and is discovering your network. As you can see in this case, discovery worked as intended, but if it doesn't, the GUI will tell you and indicate the problem, and some of these green circles would be red instead. NetMRI is correlating the IP addresses, and if NetMRI has selected an IP for management other than your preferred network, you can change it by drilling into device details and settings. Thank you.